A couple videos back, we did a hatch install on our kayak, on our Big Fish 108. We did a hatch install here, and you can't see it on camera now, but we also did one on the other side. Two main reasons we did this, well, three main. Obviously, we want access to the inside for storage, should we want it. Second, when we run our fish finder, I'm putting a Garmin 93 SV UHD on here. We do have a transducer mount inside of here for the Big Fish 108. Comes standard with the fish, big fish. So, when I run my wires, I think I'm gonna run them inside the kayak, just to keep them out of sight, out of mind. Don't have to worry about catching them on anything. The other reason we did it was because this rail, and I've harped on this in other videos, and I will continue to harp on it because it is one of my bigger gripes about this kayak. They put 3 small coarse threaded screws in this thing. So when you have a rod holder on here and you're trolling and a fish hits it, it flexes this thing like crazy. And one of these days, a big fish can just rip it off of there. Also, that 93 SV UHD is a really big unit. It's a 9-inch screen, pretty heavy. So it's going to be a lot of weight flopping back and forth, flexing on this. And I don't want to break the plastic on the kayak. So this is going to be really simple. Really simple, super simple. I went to Lowe's. Went to, there's a section near the welding section. It's got metal rods, metal flat pieces, angle iron, stuff like that. I've already cut it, but it's a 1-inch by 3-foot aluminum flat piece of metal. It's made by Hillman, H-I-L-M-A-N, Hillman. Part number 6205, if you're curious. It was around $6 and something with tax, a little over $7. So for $7, I got a 3-foot piece of metal. So I took that piece of metal, and what I'm going to do is we're going to take it, and we're going to put it on the back side here, under this, and instead of using those coarse thread screws, what we're going to use, stainless steel, 8-32 by 1-inch stainless steel screws. We'll put those through. It'll go through the rail here, go through the kayak, go through our backing plate, then we'll have a washer, and we'll have a locking nut on the back. So that will give us solid connection for our rail to the kayak, cut down our flex, and cut down on those screws stripping out and getting pulled off. So, really simple. This is a super simple, super duper install. The hardest part, obviously, was getting the hatch cut. If it was already pre-drilled, it'd be super simple, but you got to get this part done first. But once you get this done, all you need, tape measure. You don't technically need the tape measure, but for those that are curious about the numbers, this rail is 15 3/8 inches long. However, I cheated. I just laid the piece on top of the rail, marked it. So, you really don't need tape measure, but nice and handy to have. Then you'll need hacksaw. Obviously, once you got it marked, like I said, I laid it on there, marked it, cut it. The other thing you'll need, drill. I'm using I believe it's an 11/64 bit. What I did was I took this, because obviously the hole is already pre-drilled in this. Put it on here, my handy dandy purple Sharpie, mark my holes, took my drill bit. Now, I'm going to say this, because I have seen some of my friends and fellow fishermen do this. Don't drill this on this, because it'll go through and then you'll drill an unnecessary hole in your kayak. Go find a piece of wood, set it on there, drill your holes. That's pretty much it. The only other thing that you're going to need, obviously, a ratchet and screwdriver for tightening your screws down. These screws, the way this rail is made, they're going to sit down in these holes and inside that little itty bitty track at the bottom, and they're not going to hit anything that you slide in there. So you should be good there, and you shouldn't need to put a washer up there. The other thing you're going to need, and my suggestion is get you a alcohol wipe. Reach up under there, wipe this off to get a little sticky. Get the film and oil, greases and stuff off of it. Double-sided tape. Run you a strip of double-sided tape right here. And the reason you're going to do that is because it's going to be really hard to hold, because there's not a lot of room in here. So it's going to be really hard for you to put this in here, hold it, hold the rail, put the screw in, hold the washer, hold the nut, hold the ratchet, hold the screwdriver. So you stick it up there with the double-sided tape, it'll stay in place, and you should be able to put everything else in and then tighten it down and be good to go. So that's kind of the intro to it. That's what we're going to do. I'm not going to bore you with the actual cutting and the drilling of holes, but again, lay it on there, mark it off, cut it, mark your holes, drill your holes, you're ready to go. Once we get all this on here and get it installed, I'll come back and show you the finished product. See you. So we got our rail installed. We got, and I'll show you these, and I'll also try to put a link to them. The Weather Max stainless steel 832 1-inch screws. The stainless steel Weather Max number 8 washers, and Weather Max stainless steel nylon insert lock nuts. That's what we used. I'll put a link to those in the description. Got them at Lowe's. If you go in Lowe's, go in the hardware section, go to where the little blue trays are. That's usually where their stainless steel section is. So what we did, we put 3 screws in there. One thing I didn't mention to you before, your old screw holes for the coarse thread screws, drill those out in your kayak too, so that your bolt will fit through it. So we put the rail on, 3 bolts down through it. Backing plate was back there. We had our double-sided tape on it to help hold it up in there. We put our screws through there, put our washers, nylon lock screws on there, tighten them down, and it's tight. Now, I want to show you a comparison. This is these are my Omega Yak Attack rod holders I use. As you can see, they're up in the air. The reason I use these, and I will tell you, if you have a Big Fish 108, don't skimp and don't get the short ones. Make sure you get the Omegas. And I'm telling you, because when you have these down here, your pedals hit your rod when they stick out the back into your boat. With this, you can adjust it. You can just turn. You've got them up in the air. You can adjust the angles, and it keeps the rod butt out of your pedals. So don't skimp. Okay. So I'm gonna do a little bit of comparison. I'm gonna run around the other side and show you on the original equipment on the kayak. So this is the original equipment on the kayak. This is got the 3 coarse threaded screws in it, and you can see the flex. See how much flex there is in that? And if you've got your rod out here like this, and a fish takes it, you can see it's going to come loose. So that was one of the reasons that I wanted to do this. I just cannot stand the way that is. It just disaster waiting to happen. So, but if you look back at the other side, you saw how much flex there was in that one. But this one now, the only flex you can see is in my rod holder up here. There's absolutely hardly no flex and wiggle in that at all right now. So now, when you got a big, the only thing that's going to wiggle is your rod holder. And you just adjust that however you want it. And now you've got a sturdy platform for your rod holders. You won't ruin your kayak, and you can put heavier items on there. So definitely 100% recommend this, especially if you troll. I do a lot of trolling out here on Lake Norman in North Carolina. I troll for stripers, hybrid bass, largemouth, spotted bass. So when you're out here and you're trolling around and one of them hits, you know, you want to be able to hold that on there. So definitely a good thing to do. Definitely recommend it. Again, I gave you the description of what all the components I use to do this, all the tools I use to do this. I didn't actually go through the process because you don't need to see me drilling a hole. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as I can. Like and subscribe, and we'll have some more videos coming soon, okay? Thanks, guys. Be safe out there.